In this conversation on Inside the Boardroom, we're covering some fresh news that just hit the market. Exploits Discovery has entered into an option agreement to get 100% interest in a property called the Hawkins property in Ontario, Canada, where it's surrounded by producing mines. Jeff Swinoga, President and CEO, is here with us in studio to tell us a lot more about what went behind the deal. So, Jeff, thank you for being here with me. Let's turn back the clock a little bit and kind of break down what went behind the deal and why your team was attracted to Hawkins in the first place.
Okay, well, Rachel, thanks very much for having me. You know, you do such a great job. I really appreciate being on the show. Yeah, and so the genesis behind this is it's a huge milestone for us because we're now picking up 60 kilometers of this gold project in northern Ontario. Right, it's got a gold resource on it already, 330,000 ounces, 1.65 grams. So it's anchoring this massive property that we actually hopefully build on and grow up to hopefully 1 million ounces. That's going to be the key. But stepping back into your question about how this kind of came about, so having a company like ours, like our market cap's about $6-7 million, and we've got $4 or $5 million in cash, right? So we've been approached by a few opportunities saying, okay, well, we've got a great opportunity here, and so we created this opportunity committee of the board going back about 3 months. We announced it publicly in January. And we would meet every Thursday. We kind of go through what people had to say and what people were saying was available. And we had a list of like 300 companies, you know, and projects.
Inbound.
Yeah, well, we made our own list too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, you know, not that coming at us, but, you know, sort of created our own list. And we kind of systematically went through it, not letting off the gas on Newfoundland. We're drilling Bullseye and, you know, great properties there. And then this property came up about 6 weeks ago. And literally, I heard it was available. I talked to the property owner. We met for a coffee, you know, had an apple fritter, and him and I used to work at a company like together 20 years ago. Not the same time exactly, but shared some good memories. And Richard was a great guy, and he liked the vision of us taking over this property and drilling it, growing it to hopefully 1 million ounces. And then, so that's how it all kind of started. And you really couldn't time these things, but the timing couldn't be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, gold's over $3,200 an ounce, 4,500 Canadian. And we've got over $4 million in cash. It's a very, in our opinion, very attractive deal. It's $200,000 a year in cash, $200,000 in shares, and minimum work requirements like $500,000. So it's very attractive for getting a 60 kilometer, it's like getting another Appleton fault zone with a gold resource on it.
Which is your other focus in Newfoundland?
That's right. Yeah, so it's like, you know, we've got two cornerstone properties now that we can focus on. So we're very, very pleased.
And I also read that there's been about $10 million worth of work put into the property already. So what does that translate to in terms of like real activity?
Yeah, it's a great point because the prior company that had it spent $10 million on, they did some drilling at depth, they did some geophysical studies, and actually this deal comes with $2.4 million of assessment credits in Ontario too. So what
is that, assessment credits, for our audience to understand?
Yeah, it just means that you have a requirement every year to spend money on your claims, to keep your claims. So we can spread that 2.4 million across the 60 kilometers, and there will be little risk of them dropping, if that makes sense. So that came with the deal, right? And the $10 million work this. So what it means for us is that we can hit the ground running. We do have to get permits for drilling. We have to talk to the local communities as well, and there hasn't been issues in the past with them. And then we want to start drilling. So we see great opportunities at depth. We see 6 areas where they drilled at depth and they hit some good gold intercepts. We want to follow up on those areas. It's open in other areas as well. We see gaps, and it's open to the east as well. They did a lot of good trenching, but never drilled there. So all within about a 5 kilometer stretch, we actually think we can hopefully get up to, you know, 1 million ounces, and then maybe that cookie cutter resource we can apply across the area. Another thing I forgot to mention, it's near surface. Those ounces are within 200 meters of surface.
Which means it'll be much cheaper to pull out of the ground.
That's right, yeah.
So I guess permits pending is when you'll be able to start exploration work. Is there a timeline in mind?
Yeah, give us 60, 90 days to do that. And it's funny because even today when we announced the deal, we have a lot of people that worked on the project in the past coming and talking to us saying, oh, we can help, we love this project, you know. The people that worked on it before, part of the drilling program, have been reaching out to us. So it's been great to the support to revitalize this property in some sense, because it's great because we've got a really good plan. We've done a lot of due diligence on it. We met the company that did the resource estimate, historic back in 2020, but it holds together really well. So it's like one of these hidden assets that for a company my size gets super excited about.
So how will you balance Hawkins now with your activity in Newfoundland? Give us a little bit of a broad picture.
Yeah. So Newfoundland's been great. We've been drilling on our Bullseye property. We found 2 gold zones so far. Newfound came out with their own resource estimate around the area. It looks like Honeypot, for example, that resource looks like it is on the boundary of our Bullseye property, so that's very interesting.
And Newfound is the company that you described as your big brother in our past interview.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, so they've been drilling and doing great work for 5-6 years on this Appleton Fault. And it's just us and them, right? We have claims right beside them. Everything seems to be going north. They came out their Dropkick gold discovery as well. So, and that's south of our gazebo property. So Bullseye, we've had 4 drill programs, 2 gold zones, 50% hit rate, which is pretty good. Gazebo is a much larger property, 7 kilometers to the north, just north of their Dropkick. So we're going to be doing some work on gazebo. Stay tuned for that. It's some light work, but the ability to create 1 million ounces, if possible, in the Hawkins is near term very attractive, because it's very rare to be able to have that possibility within a certain short-term time frame, right? So that's going to be a key focus for us.
My other question is, why did the previous owners want to sell it? And second question is, are there risks that you're working on de-risking as well?
Yeah, no, a great question, because the prior company, great company, I won't name them, but they ran into some financial difficulty about 1.5 years ago. The market wasn't so great back in 2023, and it was hard to raise money. So they stopped drilling, and they did some lighter programs in the area, but they never really recovered. So they weren't able to honor that option agreement. So that's how it came about. So it wasn't on the market for very long. Like, we're talking weeks before we were able to talk to the owner and basically strike a deal.
And one follow-up question, because earlier I just realized you didn't answer it, but any risks that come with a project that you want to make sure you're de-risked?
No, sorry. And so good road, lots of benefits, good road access near Hemlo. It's Hemlo style as well. It's got cerussite, silica, and pyrite. So if it turns out to be a Hemlo style project, that would be big. But it might not, right? But that's why we have to keep working on it and keep drilling it. Like Hemlo Hawkins was similar to Hemlo, except back in 1981 they drilled deep.
And these zones are right beside each other, right?
Oh yeah, if you look at and then you can see on our press release that the zones are right below the current resource.
We'll put that as a graphic in our video.
Yeah. So and Hemlo was very similar back in the 1980s, 1970s. Lower grade, but they drilled deeper and they found higher grade. And this Hemlo's produced over 21 million ounces. So and the same guy who co-discovered Hemlo is the guy who discovered this Hawkins project, McKinnon. That's why it's called the McKinnon resource. So, but going back to your question about risks, we haven't talked to the local communities yet, but there's been drilling in the past. We haven't got our permits yet, but they've got permits in the past. What else? So I think we've got a great team. We had a lot of people reaching out to us.
To support starting back up the project.
Support. So
that's great.
Yeah, we don't see any red flags, and this is why we did so much due diligence, because kind of stepping out of Newfoundland and looking at another flagship property, that's not a light endeavor, right? So we did a lot of homework to make sure that this was the right opportunity for us. So we don't see any red flags, and honestly, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, this is a bit of a loaded question, because you obviously are the CEO of the company, but earlier we said it's all about timing. This is a great timing for exploits. Why would you tell us that it's a great time to get interested in exploits discovery?
Well, because on the back of this property, we have great claims in Newfoundland, but it's very exciting to get something new, a fresh perspective, and to have the money to drill as well. Right, so now is a great time. Gold's moving in the right direction. We have a gold resource. We didn't have a gold resource before, right? Our market cap's only $6 million right now, 4 in cash. So EV's only 2. So when you look at the potential here to create 1 million ounces on this property in the next couple of years, if that's possible, if it's the Hemlo style, that could be a game changer. So to start following our story, if you haven't followed it recently, start following it now. Because we're going to be talking about permits, we're going to be talking about a lot of things about this Hawkins property, and still talk about Newfoundland as well.
Well, it's good that you're here yourself to break down the
Yeah,
story for
absolutely.
us, so thank you.
Oh, pleasure being here. Yeah.
For our audience who wants to learn more, of course, you can go to CEO.CA, search NFLD to learn more about what other investors are saying. Thanks for watching.